Busan Computer Products Incorporated. This is quite a complicated case. Therefore, I suggest that before solving this case, the first step that you need to do is to categorize the information. This is going to help you with solving the case, and when you get ready to put the case in Excel, it will help with your process. Now, for our purpose in this class, we typically have 5 categories for information. The first is prices and markups, variable costs, fixed costs, other information, and profit objectives. I'm not going to list every single line item here according to the case, but I'm going to describe what going to belong to each of the categories. For the prices and markup, you would have the retail unit selling price, the percentage of sales for each type of product, the wholesaler percentage markup, and the retailer percentage markup. For the information on variable costs, you would have marginal and labor, packaging and shipping, sales force commission. For the fixed cost category, you would have manufacturing fixed cost per month, annual salary of salesperson, monthly travel of salesperson, cost of direct mail piece, in-flight magazine advertising, registration per trade show, staffing per trade show. Other information include the number of tablets per carton, number of new salespeople, number of direct mail pieces, number of trade show, 2013 Korean tablet market units, 2013 Korean tablet market in dollars. The percentage increase in Korea market from 2013 to 2014. And finally, the profit objectives would include the dollar profit objective and the percentage profit on sale. Okay, having said that, now we are going to solve the case by hand. And please remember, for this kind of complicated case, you should always solve the case by hand before you start solving the case in Excel. Now, first question. Asking for the weighted unit selling price per tablet. You would have the price of each of the product line times the percent of sale for that product line, and you're gonna sum all of them together. And the answer would be $127. Okay. Now, using this price, we will have the weighted unit selling price of the wholesaler would be equal to the unit selling price of the retailer, which also and divided by 1 plus 40% equal 90.71. And the weighted unit selling price of BCPI, Busan, would be equal to the unit selling price of the wholesaler times 1 minus the percentage markup on cost of the retailer. Of the wholesaler. Okay. Next question asking for the exact same information but using the markup change approach. Now, in order to do this, you will have the retailer divided by 1 plus percentage markup on the retailer markup on cost, and times 1 minus the wholesaler markup on selling price. And of course the answer would be $65.31. On question number 3, materials and labor is equal to 30% of the unit selling price. Packaging and shipping of 10 tablets is $25.28, but we only want to find out the cost of packaging and shipping for 1 tablet. So we divide it by 10, equal to $2.53. Commission sales force is 7% of the unit selling price, which would be equal to $4.57. Therefore, we have the unit variable cost per tablet would be equal to the sum of all these 3 variable costs together, and that would equate to $26.69. Next question. Question number 4. Asking for the dollar contribution. The dollar contribution equal to the unit selling price minus the unit variable cost equal $38.62. The percentage contribution equal the dollar contribution divided by the unit selling price equal 59.13%. Next question, asking for the total fixed cost. But before we figure out the total fixed cost, we have to itemize all the costs, all the fixed costs. Well, the manufacturing cost per month is $45,000, and we have 12 months within a year. Therefore, the manufacturing cost would equal to $540,000. Sales force salary would equal to each salesperson's salary times the number of salespeople, and that equates to $360,000. Sales force travel equal to $3,000 per month. We have 12 months, and we have 6 salespeople, and that equates to $216,000. Next, direct mail. Cost is $5.70 per piece, and we need to send out 50,000 pieces. So the total direct mail expense would be $285,000. In-flight advertising equal to $40,000 per quarter, and we have 4 quarters within a year, and that gives us $160,000 in cost. Trade show registration equal to $30,000, and we typically do 3 per year, so that will cost us $90,000. Trade show staffing, well, you have to have staff at the trade show, would cost $20,000, and again we have 3 trade shows within a year, and that would be $60,000. Therefore, the total fixed cost for this company in a year would equal to $1,711,000. Okay, now that we have the total fixed cost, we are going to go ahead and figure out the unit break-even point. Equal to the total fixed cost divided by the dollar contribution, and we are going to round it up to an even number, which is 44,304 units. Okay, the dollar break-even point equal to the number of break-even point units times the unit selling price, and that equal to 2 million and some change. Q7. Now the company wants to have a profit objective of $500,000. How would you revise the level of sale in terms of units and dollars? Well, we're going to have the total fixed cost plus the profit objective equal to $1,711 plus $500,000 in profit objective, and that gives us $2,211,000. Okay, therefore the revised level of sale in units would equal to the total fixed cost and profit objective divided by the dollar contribution, and that equal to a round up number of 57,251 units. Now, the dollar revised level of sale would equal to the unit level of sale times the unit selling price, and that equal to 3 million and some change. Next question, very similar, but now the profit objective is thought of as the percentage of the unit selling price. So let's go ahead and find out what would that be. Well, what that means is the dollar profit for each tablet that the company want to have is 25% of the selling price of the tablet, and that will equate to $16.33. In other words, for every single tablet that the company sell, they want to make $16.33. Now we are going to treat this new profit objective as a new variable cost so that we can revise the new dollar contribution. So in other words, the dollar contribution in this case for the revised one would equal to the unit selling price minus the previous unit variable cost, which is $26.69. We are going to go ahead and minus that, but then we also want to treat this number as the new variable cost, so we go ahead and minus that as well. So the dollar contribution should cover the profit objective and the unit variable cost, and that gives us the new dollar contribution of $22.29. From this, we can figure out the unit revised level of sale with profit objective as percentage equal to the fixed cost that we have figured out earlier and divided by the new dollar contribution, which is $22.29, and that would give us a round up number of 76,756 units. Okay, the dollar revised level of sale would equal to the unit level of sale times the unit selling price. That equates to about $5 million. All right. The next question asking us for the total market in unit for 2014. Now we know that in 2013, the number of units is 500,000 units. But it has a 10% of increase. Therefore, we are go ahead and added the 10%. And that will give us the new number of market. The total in dollars would also equal to the 2013 total market of $25 million times the 10% increase, and that will give us $27,500,000. Question 10. Let's try to figure out the market share that the company require in order when they achieve the break-even point and the revised level of sale. Well, for the break-even point market share would be the number of unit break-even point divided for the total market, which is 550,000 units, and that would give us a little bit more than 8%.